The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, well, Hollywood had a brand new obsession.
Yeah, it was pretty instantaneous.
It really was. Welcome to Starscope Report. Today, we are taking you on a deep dive into the stories behind the fame. We uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and, those massive viral pop culture moments.
And today's deep dive is definitely one of those massive moments.
Absolutely. So if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you subscribe because we've got even crazier stories ahead. But let's get right into it. Picture the scene. It is Paris, yesterday, August 3rd, 2026.
Right in the middle of summer.
Exactly. The late afternoon sun is hitting the cobblestones, the city is absolutely buzzing, and walking down the street fresh from a joint workout are Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid.
Which, on its own is a pretty big deal.
Right. The cameras flash, the paparazzi shout,
Yeah.
and the entire pop culture internet just freezes.
Which is actually saying something, considering celebrity sightings in Europe during August are basically a daily occurrence. I mean, they are everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
But this wasn't about who was in the photo. It was about the microscopic details hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. I mean, Bradley is 51, Gigi is 31. They're holding hands, looking completely unbothered. The photos hit the internet, and nobody is looking at their workout clothes.
Not at all.
Everyone is immediately zooming in on their left hands because right there, in high definition, were unmistakable matching bands on their left ring fingers. It was the ultimate visual mic drop.
Oh, absolutely. There was no carefully crafted PR statement.
Right.
No exclusive magazine cover. Just the jewelry quietly breaking the internet.
Which brings us to our mission for you today. We are taking you straight into the mechanics of this Hollywood mystery because our stack of sources today is massive.
It really is. We've got a lot to get through.
Yeah, we are pulling the latest on-the-ground dispatches from TMZ, Lainey Gossip, Cinema Blend, The Zoe Report, and Star Magazine.
All the heavy hitters.
But because gossip only tells half the story, we're taking all those rumors and slamming them up against hard sociological data from the Knott's 2025 Real Wedding Study.
And honestly, it's the perfect stack for understanding this exact moment. Because we have the micro, which is, two incredibly famous people walking down a street.
Right.
And then we have the macro, which is this massive cultural shift in how society actually views marriage and milestones right now.
So we're going to unpack the actual evidence behind these exploding rumors of a Cooper-Hadid secret marriage. We'll trace the highly calculated 3-year slow burn of their relationship.
Very calculated.
Yeah, and we're going to explore this really fascinating theory that this potential secret elopement isn't just some quirky celebrity thing, but a perfect reflection of how modern couples are completely rewriting the rules of the wedding industry.
Because if we peel back the layers of that Paris stroll, we actually get a masterclass in modern public relations. I mean, it is a look into the tension between our curated public selves and our, fiercely protected private lives.
So let's start with the visual evidence from yesterday, because the contrast is what makes this so fascinating to me.
Yeah, the outfits are key here.
They really are.
Yeah.
So Gigi and Bradley are walking back from the gym, and they are actively projecting this aura of the mundane. The Zoe Report broke down the outfits, and it is peak athleisure.
Oh, toad.
Gigi is wearing this ribbed white tank top from Perfect White Tee, a black sports bra, gray leggings, and these New Balance Gorpcore sneakers.
Gorpcore. I love that term.
Right. And for anyone not living on fashion TikTok, Gorpcore is basically that trend where highly functional, outdoorsy hiking gear is worn as everyday street fashion.
So you look like you're about to scale a mountain, but you're actually just getting an iced latte.
Exactly. It's the uniform of the off-duty model attempting to look entirely unstudied. And Bradley matched that energy perfectly.
He really did. He's in a dark blue graphic tee that says, we don't skip, some generic blue running shorts, and an NFL snapback.
The message they are sending is so clear. It's like we're just running errands. But you have to contrast that incredibly casual vibe with the heavy, permanent implication of what is actually on their hands.
Right, the rings.
Yeah. Gigi is wearing this beautifully textured white gold or possibly silver band that appears to be lined with tiny pearls.
It's gorgeous on
And
its
it
own.
is. And Bradley is sporting a very simple, classic gold double band. Lainey Gossip actually dubbed this specific placement the gossip finger.
The gossip finger, that is such a great term, but we have to look at the environment they deployed it in. I mean, they are in France for a very specific reason.
Right, Bradley is working.
Exactly. He is currently in Paris, directing and starring in an upcoming Ocean's prequel alongside Margot Robbie, which is set at the 1960s Grand Prix.
Sounds like a massive production.
Oh, huge. He is deep in production mode, and they have been relentlessly hounded by the French paparazzi for days,
Yeah.
to the point where Bradley actually turned to them and said in French, "Ça suffit."
Which means
Yeah.
that's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, see, here is where I really have to push back on this prevailing narrative, that this is some sort of secret marriage leaking out.
Really? Why?
Because, think about it, you are walking in front of a Parisian paparazzi who you already know are tracking your every single move, and you casually wear matching bands on your left ring fingers.
Well, yeah, I see your point.
That is the equivalent of wearing a neon sign in a library. I mean, if they genuinely wanted to keep a marriage completely under wraps, they'd just leave the rings in the hotel safe.
Right, you're pointing out the performative nature of the so-called candid photograph.
Exactly. Like, is this just a deliberate soft launch? Are they using the paparazzi to do the heavy lifting of a public announcement so they don't have to put out like a cheesy Instagram statement?
Okay, the neon sign analogy works on a visual level, but I think you have to look at the PR strategy more like an ocean undertow.
How do you mean?
Well, on the surface, the water looks completely calm. It's just two people in gym clothes holding hands. But beneath the surface, there is a massive, highly coordinated legal and public relations current, and it's pulling the narrative exactly where they want it to go.
So they are fully in control.
100%. In today's celebrity ecosystem, the active refusal to make a grand announcement has basically become the highest tier of authenticity.
Because putting out a glossy, perfectly lit Instagram post with a Mr. and Mrs. caption suddenly feels cheap.
It feels manufactured. And we just saw this exact same undertow strategy play out brilliantly with another A-list couple.
Oh, wait till you hear what came next, because another major A-list couple literally just did this. And if you want to keep up with all these Hollywood strategies, definitely hit that subscribe button. But yeah, you are talking about the Tom Holland and Zendaya situation.
Yes, Cinema Blend tracked this for months. Zendaya was repeatedly spotted wearing a very specific gold band on her gossip finger.
What did they do?
They played coy. They completely dodged the interview questions. They just let the internet spiral into a massive self-sustaining frenzy.
Just total silence.
Exactly. It wasn't until June of this year, 2026, that Tom Holland casually mentioned in an interview that they had secretly married months prior.
Oh man, he even mentioned that his own grandmother got fooled by AI-generated fake wedding photos of them during that whole spiral.
Which is objectively hilarious.
It is hilarious, but also kind of terrifying. Imagine being his grandma and getting a hyper-realistic photo of Zendaya in a wedding dress.
Right, but it's the perfect encapsulation of the era we live in, when generative AI can create a flawless image of a celebrity wedding that fools family members. The only way to prove a milestone is actually real might be to keep it completely out of the digital space.
Wow, yeah.
Because if there are no photos to fake, the mystery itself becomes the proof of life.
That is so true. Which naturally makes you wonder how this elite Hollywood behavior trickles down to the rest of us.
It always does, eventually.
It really does. So I went digging into the Knott's 2025 Real Wedding Study, and the data actually shows everyday people are starting to mimic this exact behavior.
Really? In what way?
Well, the wedding industry is currently undergoing a massive structural shift and is being driven by Gen Z, who now make up 41% of the total wedding market.
Wow, 41%. That is a massive chunk of the market.
And this generation is aggressively rejecting the established playbook. The Knot specifically notes they are abandoning what we'd call cookie-cutter traditions.
Right, but the why is what's so interesting here. It's not just that they dislike matching bridesmaid dresses or, the bouquet toss.
No, it's performative exhaustion. Gen Z grew up optimizing every single moment of their lives for social media.
Everything goes on the grid.
Exactly. Now that they're reaching marriage age, the study shows 53% of couples are pivoting hard toward extreme intimacy, specifically demanding completely private proposal settings.
Because they explicitly do not want the moment engineered for the grid.
Right. It's the cultural pendulum swinging in the complete opposite direction.
For the last decade, the middle ground was the standard. A nice venue, a couple hundred guests, a curated hashtag.
The classic millennial wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the middle ground is evaporating. Modern couples are taking two extreme paths. They either host a multi-day, highly personalized, maximalist festival.
Or they go ultra-intimate.
Exactly.
It's basically the wedding equivalent of the quiet luxury trend we saw in fashion.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Yeah. Instead of an enormous multi-million-dollar diamond that blinds you from across the room, it's a textured pearl band that just whispers, if you know, you know.
But we have to ask if this push for extreme privacy is a genuine, permanent rebellion against social media performativity, or just another aesthetic trend that will fade when the next big app launches.
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
I think for people whose entire careers rely on public attention, like Bradley and Gigi, privacy isn't just a trend, it's a currency.
It is the ultimate luxury.
But to figure out if they actually cashed in that currency and pulled off an ultra-intimate wedding, we really have to look at their behavioral patterns. Does a spontaneous, secretive elopement actually fit how they operate?
Well, that requires looking at the architecture of their romance. If we trace the timeline back to October 2023, when they first started dating, secrecy was the immediate foundation.
Oh, absolutely.
They kept the public integration incredibly slow.
Almost painfully slow by Hollywood standards. I mean,
Yeah.
they dated for a year and a half before doing the Instagram hard launch.
Which, for those unfamiliar, is when you finally post a definitive, undeniable photo of your partner on your main social feed.
Right. And they waited until May of 2025 for Gigi's 30th birthday to actually make it grid official.
But the breadcrumbs of deep commitment were being dropped well before that hard launch.
Definitely. Back in May 2025, Gigi started wearing this custom 14-karat gold dog tag necklace that retails for about $3,000.
Not cheap.
No. And it was prominently engraved with both of their initials.
Yeah.
But, jewelry's easy. The much bigger indicator of their seriousness is how they've handled their kids.
Which is always the most sensitive, complex variable when two established adults merge their lives.
Exactly. Gigi shares a 5-year-old daughter, Kai, with Zayn Malik, and Bradley has a 9-year-old daughter, Leah, with Irina Shayk.
Two very different ages, two different co-parenting situations.
Yeah. But according to the sources, the blending of these two families has been incredibly seamless. People magazine actually reported that they figured out a very natural rhythm that accommodates their massive schedules while prioritizing the kids.
That is so important.
It is. And there were even significant rumors swirling in late 2025 that Bradley sat down with Gigi's mother, Yolanda Hadid, to formally ask for her blessing.
Oh, wow. So you have a slow burn public integration, a successful blending of families, and traditional steps like asking for a parent's blessing.
The foundation for marriage is undeniably there.
It is. But the tabloid ecosystem is currently at absolute war over what's actually happening behind closed doors.
And later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming regarding where they were just a month ago. But first, this is where we get into the conflicting narratives. And honestly, I want to debate this a bit.
Okay, let's get into it.
On one side, you have Star Magazine. Their insiders claim Gigi is essentially in a holding pattern, while Bradley sends all these mixed messages.
The classic hesitant groom narrative.
Right. They say he talks about marrying her constantly, but then panics and gets completely bogged down by the stress of lawyers, paperwork, and massive prenuptial agreements.
Which, given their wealth, is a real factor.
Exactly. But then you have People magazine pushing the complete opposite angle. Their sources claim Bradley and Gigi are perfectly aligned, they're refusing to rush any milestones, and they're just letting things happen naturally because their bond is so solid.
Now, we obviously aren't here to declare which anonymous source is telling the absolute truth, but the contrast between those two narratives is just fascinating.
It really highlights how desperate the media is.
Yeah, it shows how desperate they are to fill the vacuum of silence the couple has engineered.
Look, I'll play devil's advocate here. People magazine is notoriously friendly with celebrity PR teams.
Very friendly.
So that whole letting things happen naturally line sounds suspiciously like a spoon-fed narrative designed to make them look effortless.
It does sound a bit scripted.
Honestly, the Star magazine claim about the prenup stress rings much truer to reality when you consider their respective net worths. I mean, we are talking about hundreds of millions of dollars here.
Oh, easily.
So if Bradley is genuinely stressed about ironclad legal paperwork, a secret, under-the-radar Parisian elopement feels completely contradictory.
How so?
It's like trying to untangle a massive, complicated knot by just closing your eyes and cutting the rope. You can't just spontaneously elope when there are hundreds of millions of dollars and custody arrangements at stake.
Well, the rope analogy highlights the PR side perfectly, but legally that knot still has to be untangled. Usually, a highly secretive, ultra-intimate wedding for people with their level of wealth doesn't actually mean spontaneity.
What does it mean then?
It means an army of lawyers working quietly in the background for 6 months. The event itself might look spontaneous, like walking out of a gym in athletic wear with fresh rings.
Right.
But the architecture supporting that casual stroll is a literal fortress of non-disclosure agreements and asset protection.
Ah, I see. So the casualness is just an illusion built on top of months of grueling legal negotiations.
Precisely. They are affording themselves the luxury of a quiet moment because they paid a very expensive team to handle the noise.
Wow. Which makes their recent social calendar even more wildly ironic.
Oh, you mean last month?
Yes. We're talking about the careful engineering of a private moment. But just weeks before this quiet Parisian stroll, Bradley and Gigi were front and center at the exact opposite of a private event.
The spectacle of the decade.
Literally. Early July 2026, Madison Square Garden in New York City. Bradley and Gigi were high-profile guests at the massive, headline-dominating wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
I mean, you literally cannot engineer a wider dichotomy.
You really can't.
A stadium wedding with global media coverage versus a quiet walk down a cobblestone street in gym clothes.
It's mind-blowing. And this isn't just fun celebrity trivia, it has massive cultural weight. Going back to the Knott's 2025 study, they found that 4 in 10 couples predict that high-profile celebrity weddings, and they specifically named the Swift-Kelce wedding, will heavily dictate wedding trends for the next 2 years.
This is exactly where we have to connect the data back to the sociological mechanisms driving it.
Right.
The Knott study revealed a statistic that perfectly illustrates this modern obsession with spectacle. 26% of couples now hire vendors, like professional photographers, videographers, or planners, solely for their proposals.
Just for the proposal.
Yes.
Before a venue is even booked, before the parents are even called, they are orchestrating a multi-camera production.
Because social media has created what sociologists call the curated self.
The curated self.
Yeah, and the curated self demands a constant feed of content. This demand has literally birthed a secondary economy of milestone engineering.
The sheer absurdity of the logistics is wild when you think about it. I mean, imagine trying to have a genuinely vulnerable, intimate moment with your partner while knowing a professional photographer in a ghillie suit is hiding in the bushes 40 feet away.
Just waiting to capture the exact right angle for the grid.
Exactly. It's wild.
It fundamentally alters the psychology of the milestone. You are no longer just experiencing your joy, you are optimizing your joy for an audience.
Yeah, you really are.
But this is exactly why Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid's Parisian stroll is so compelling. Because the middle class can now easily afford to hire that photographer in the bushes, the spectacle is no longer exclusive.
Ah, so how do the ultra-wealthy, who already have all the attention in the world, signal their status?
By refusing to participate in the spectacle entirely, they attended the ultimate stadium blowout in July, saw the absolute peak of milestone engineering, and then seemingly chose the ultimate secret in August.
It's like they looked at Madison Square Garden and said, that is beautiful for them, but we're going to do the exact opposite.
Exactly.
And it really forces you to examine the mechanics of your own life. When you experience a major milestone, whether it's a promotion, an engagement, buying a house, or having a child.
Any big moment.
Right. Do you perform it for your audience, or do you fiercely protect it for yourself?
It's the eternal tension between public validation and private reality. What Cooper and Hadid, along with Holland and Zendaya, are demonstrating is a radical shift in celebrity behavior.
A total shift.
The ultimate flex right now isn't proving to millions of strangers how happy you are. The flex is being so secure in your happiness that you don't feel the need to prove it to anyone at all.
Wow. Okay, let's pull all these threads together. We started with a meticulously casual gym stroll on a late summer day in Paris, where matching rings on the gossip finger sent the internet into a tailspin.
We did.
We unpacked how the Tom Dyer precedent proved that secret A-list marriages are the new standard for authenticity.
And we analyzed the 3-year architecture of their relationship, from the slow burn public integration to the successful blending of their families.
Right, and we dug into how conflicting tabloid narratives only highlight the massive legal and PR machinery required to actually pull off a secret wedding.
And finally, we explored the massive cultural shift documented by the Knot, We looked at the sheer contrast between the stadium-sized celebrity spectacles they attend and the ultra-intimate, authentic reality they seem to have chosen for themselves.
Driven by a generation completely exhausted by performativity.
It really is a fascinating mirror held up to how modern society defines, protects, and celebrates commitment.
It truly is. And it leaves me with one final provocative thought for you to ponder long after this deep dive ends.
I loved a good final thought.
We are currently living in an era where 90% of couples rely on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Pinterest to meticulously document, plan, and broadcast every single second of their weddings.
Every single second.
In a world where absolutely everything is content, perhaps the ultimate luxury isn't a massive diamond, a viral hashtag, or a Madison Square Garden blowout. Perhaps the ultimate flex is experiencing the biggest milestone of your life completely undetected by the world.
I think you might be right.
So, as we watch the data shift, will these invisible ghost weddings become the ultimate status symbol of the future?
It certainly guarantees you'll never look at a paparazzi shot of a celebrity's left hand the same way again.
You definitely won't. Keep your eyes peeled for those neon signs in the library. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.